I think that this might very well, could possibly be the nerdiest lipstick video ever made. Also, if you're a gentleman or a woman that doesn't wear lipstick, do hang around because we're just gonna do some basics in organic chemistry. Basically, kind of starting the dialogue of what is a salicylate in its molecular structure. So, hang around, we're gonna talk about some vocab, and then also we're gonna talk about basically how to read some labels and how to figure out your risk just using some really simple internet tools. All right, so first of all, I don't like talking about mainstream lipsticks or makeup generally on my channel because I don't have really any other issues besides salicylate sensitivity and true allergies, but those don't come up very often in cosmetics. I am not amine sensitive. My skin is actually not terribly sensitive either, so you know, if I'm going to have a reaction, like there will probably be a few of you guys before me that will have a reaction. So I don't really like talking about these, but I thought that we could use this more as an exercise and learn a few things about the molecular nature of salicylates. So with that, let's actually talk about lipstick. If you're new to my channel, we talk about salicylate sensitivity or aspirin allergy, casually known as aspirin allergy, and basically it's in a lot of things, including a lot of cosmetics. So what I want to do is first of all talk about the lipstick that I wear often. This here is NYX Lingerie, and I'll give you a close-up of that, but my color of choice is Lipley 12. And I've been using this one probably for about 6 years or so. So I bought this and used it, not the same tube, obviously I'm on a different tube, but I purchased this, it's color exotic. I purchased this before I went salicylate sensitive. So I actually didn't react to it through the transition into salicylate sensitivity and out of normal cosmetics. So this one got to stay. Salicylates can be absorbed into your skin, through your skin, and generally if I have a reaction from something I put on my skin, it's usually something internal, like it goes into my bloodstream and then I have a reaction that way. So I can put something on the back of my hand, and while people who might be really sensitive might end up with a rash on their hand, right? That's a contact reaction. I get more of a systemic reaction. So I might start sneezing or sniffling, or I might get wishy ears. That's something, it goes into your bloodstream and you have a reaction that way. So I tend to do really well with this lipstick in particular. I also enjoy the Maybelline matte ink. So I've got these in a couple of reds that I use a lot for pinup makeup. And the reason I like both of these, and I think even if they do have salicylates, one reason why I might do really well with them is that they actually just dry hard on your skin. It actually doesn't absorb it into your skin. It dries quite fast, and it doesn't like leach, right? It doesn't stain your lips. It's not a cream that's moist and constantly being absorbed into your skin. So I think possibly that's one reason why I might do better with them, or they just don't have enough salicylate in them to make me react. So I ended up going, I got my passport photos done at Walgreens, and while I was there I was like, I'm gonna see if they have my lipstick, and I want this in a lighter shade, and I got one that was quite a bit lighter and it looks terrible, and so I wanted to pick something up that might be a good solution. So I got this one, which is a NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream, and this don't use this one. First of all, the font is like a size 5 font, and even though I'm a botanist and I almost always carry a hand lens, I did not have a hand lens with me that day, and so I ended up buying it. And I use a lot of NYX products. I've never had a reaction to any of them. So I kind of felt like it's close enough. Maybe it won't matter. And sure enough, this morning I put it on, and within a few minutes, I started having really bad back spasms. So you guys might not know, and I don't think it's a really common reaction for salicylate sensitivity, but I have a muscle disorder called levodopa responsive dystonia, and one of my main reactions is just muscle spasms. So I get them in my back, I get them in my face, in my eyes, in my jaw and neck. The back ones are really rough. So anyway, within just a few minutes of putting this on, I started having some reactions. I also noticed that it was fragranced, kind of a sweet smell, not like synthetic fragrance. Like some of them smell like bubble gum, or maybe like cocoa, or food items. But this was just kind of a higher fleeting smell. So anyway, that between those two clues, I thought maybe this one here might have something in it that is making me sick. And sure enough, the main culprit, I'm just gonna call it out right now, is I think benzyl salicylate. So excuse me for a moment. Yep, benzyl salicylate. So I'm like a litmus test for this stuff. So anyway, but the question was, does this one have benzyl salicylate or any salicylates in it? And I honestly don't think it does. But what we're going to talk about is how to kind of look through and see what your risk is without knowing a ton about organic chemistry. Now, I did a couple quarters in college of organic chemistry. It wasn't my strongest subject. I wasn't very interested. I'm sure if I took it now, I would be much more interested in it because it actually applies to my everyday life, including my health and survival. So, priorities change and interests change over time. So what I'd like to do is look through and pick out what ingredients may or may not be a risk and why that might be the case. So there's 4 organic chemistry concepts that we're going to cover today. And one is that when you see this molecular formula, that this is a benzene ring. So a benzene ring is an aromatic ring. You can have an aromatic ring with a smaller amount of carbon atoms in it, but this one in particular has 6 carbons. Those are the 6 points of the hexagon, and it has 3 double bonds between them, and that is your classic benzene ring. So all salicylates have benzene rings, but not all benzene rings are salicylates. Okay, the second thing that we're going to add is we're going to add an OH group, and this is a basic phenol. So a phenol, all phenols are benzene rings, and all salicylates are phenols, but not all phenols are salicylates. So that's number 2. And number 3, this is what a salicylate molecule looks like. I have seen them fluctuate a little bit. I'm not entirely certain where the line ends and doesn't end, but basically this is what you're looking for a salicylate. So the last thing, and I've said very confidently in other videos that this is a salt or this is an inorganic compound. What I mean by that is that there is absolutely no salicylate or benzene ring in here. Here's an example, just normal table salt, sodium chloride, NaCl. There's no carbon in there. It's just sodium and chloride. Oh, here's one that's in here. Barium sulfate. So that should have a barium atom, a sulfur atom, and some oxygen. So that one is also an inorganic compound, and it is nothing like a benzene ring, right? So we can be sure that barium sulfate should be fine. Okay, so let's look at the offender in this one. This is benzyl salicylate, so that one is the worst one in here. You can see that it's got a benzene ring, it's got the salicylate molecule, obviously it's in the name, so that one's a dead giveaway. This one here is another one that might be not so good. This one is benzoate. So benzoate is very similar to salicylate. Some people say that it uses the same pathways in our body. That could be a problem. Other ingredients in here that could be a problem are flavor and aroma. So anytime you see a vague ingredient like natural flavors, flavor, aroma, natural colors, anything like that, that could be a natural ingredient that slipped in that could actually make us quite sick. Mint is an example of a natural flavor that could make us sick. We're not going to go through all of them, but I'm just pulling up some examples here. Okay, this is another one, hexyl cinnamol. So that one, you would think it's cinnamol as in cinnamon, but that one actually is, and it might be present in cinnamon. They say that it's a natural ingredient in natural extract of chamomile. Anytime you hear anything with natural extracts, might be a problem. Another one here. Oh, I thought I saw one other here that, rosen. So this one here, I'll put the molecular formula up. This one here, I'm not so sure. I doubt that this one's a salicylate, but it is a pretty complex molecule. Rosen is, I guess, like a natural resin of pine trees and other plants, so that might also be a risk. And so yeah, so altogether, this was a terrible choice. If I would have had my hand lens, I probably wouldn't have gotten it. Also, there's some dyes here. Most of the dyes are inorganic, meaning they're just, different elements squished together. But I believe that, if I recall right, red 6 and maybe red 7 have phenols in them, or benzene rings. And yeah, so altogether, this is a very botanical lipstick with lots of benzenes, lots of questionable items. So I would say, even if it didn't have the benzyl salicylate in it, I still shouldn't have gotten it. So, oh well. This one, like I said, I do not react to. I'm actually wearing it right now. Out of here, I believe that most of these ingredients are safe. I'm not going to go into every single one, but some other things in here that are safe is mineral oil. So that is not a botanical. That is from a petroleum oil, and it is very well tolerated among people with allergies. So that one is safe. It's also in French, so pardon me while I skip some things here. Tocopherols, that does contain benzene, but it is vitamin E and generally well tolerated by people who are salicylate sensitive. Its main oil carrier besides the mineral oil is sunflower seed oil, so that one obviously we all know is a low or negligible salicylate. More tocopherols. There's the barium sulfate. This one here is a little bit questionable. This is phenol ethanol. So basically you have an alcohol attached to a benzene ring. This one here is not a salicylate, but if you didn't know better and you're just using the benzene ring as like a guide, right, as just like a starting point, as it could be potentially risky, that would be an option to look at. I believe that the phenol ethanol is actually phenoxyethanol, excuse me. That one is used as kind of the antimicrobial preservative for this. And then the last is some colors. So titanium dioxide and iron oxides are fine. Those are, like I said, inorganic. The ones on here for colors that could be a problem is red 6, red 7, and blue 1. If you are sensitive to lipstick, or you're kind of wanting to get started off with something a little bit more tolerated, or well tolerated, I use the Scarlet Fire, or that's the color. I use the Hemp Organics lipstick. So this one here, I've got them all on my website. This one was recommended by a woman who wrote a low-sal book. The healthier I ate, the sicker I got. So she mentioned that she uses this lipstick, and so I picked it up and I love it. This one is like my everyday go-to cream lipstick, especially it looks great in Zoom meetings, mostly because I have a really crappy camera, so it kind of compensates for that. But this has a little bit of hemp oil and castor oil, which seem to be somewhat tolerated. I think they're probably more of like a moderate sal. I have never seen any tests for them, and I haven't really seen anybody say anything about it. In the low-salicylate community, that's been definitive, because a lot of people say that they react to it, and a lot of people say they don't have a problem with it. So I would just like to see the stats personally, but this here might be a good lipstick for you to try on. You might like that. So I hope you have enjoyed this lipstick / organic chemistry basic intro lesson. And yeah, why don't you leave in the comments if you have salicylate sensitivity and have some favorite makeup items that you like to buy. Leave your comments down below. And if you want to find me elsewhere, you can find me on Instagram or Facebook. And if you liked this video, you're still here, you didn't bounce at benzene ring, make sure that you subscribe and click the bell, especially if you want to see content in the future, because I may not make it very consistently. So if you want to find out in a week or 3 months that I made a video, YouTube will let you know that I posted something new, and that way you don't miss it. I think that's it for now. Have a wonderful day, and let me know what you think down below. Thanks.